Dear students, welcome to another lecture on development administration. In today's lecture, we will discuss a path-breaking thinker of public administration, namely Dwight Waldo. The primary objectives of this lecture are to learn about Waldo's idea of the administrative state, to study Waldo's views on the politics-administration dichotomy, to know the significance of Minnowbrook Conference 1, to learn about the new public administration movement, and to understand the differences between NPA and traditional public administration. Dear students, let us begin by knowing who Dwight Waldo is. Dwight Waldo is an American political scientist. He made a great impact in the field of modern public administration. He was born on September 28, 1913 in USA. He went on to complete his master's degree in political theory from the University of Nebraska. Then he went to Yale University for his PhD, where he was introduced to the study of public administration as a discipline. After that, he came to shape much of the future of scholarship in the field of public administration. His Yale PhD thesis was reworked after civil service during World War II into a classic work of public administration called The Administrative State, published in 1948. Eventually, he taught at the University of California, Berkeley, the Maxwell School at Syracuse University, and Virginia Tech, where he influenced many future scholars of government. He had a profound influence on a number of young academics in the late 1960s by organizing the Minnowbrook Conference. Waldo passed away on February 27, 2000, leaving behind a legacy of scholarship and a lasting impact on the field of public administration. Some of his major works are The Administrative State, a study of the political theory of American public administration, Ideas and Issues in Public Administration, The Study of Public Administration, Perspectives on Administration, Public Administration in a Time of Turbulence, and Temporal Dimensions of Development Administration, among many other works. To appreciate Waldo's contributions, we first need to know his novel views on public administration. The best way to understand Waldo's different approach to public administration is to look at the debate he had with Herbert Simon. Waldo is famous for the debate he had with Herbert Simon on the nature of bureaucracy in American Political Science Review just after World War II. The debate between Waldo and Simon revolves around their differing perspectives on the role of values and ethics in public administration. Simon was famous for his decision-making theory. His book, Administrative Behavior, published in 1947, laid the foundation for understanding the decision-making processes of administrators. Simon introduced concepts like satisficing, the importance of administrative decision-making, and the role of bounded rationality in organizational behavior. Simon was inclined towards a value-neutral approach to public administration. He emphasized the role of administrative decision-making based on rationality, efficiency, and technical expertise. Simon's perspective focused on the administrative process as a problem-solving activity, emphasizing that administrators should focus on achieving efficiency and optimal solutions rather than being entangled in ethical or moral considerations. Waldo challenged mainstream scholars' view of public administration as a value-free, non-partisan social science that promised to make government more efficient and effective. Professor Camilla Stivers has observed, despite public administration's claim to be a science, Waldo declares it is a political theory. Political theory looks to error in the world and aims to envision new possibilities. It is critical rather than objective, suggestive rather than conclusive. Waldo emphasized the ethical responsibilities of public administrators. He believed that administrators should consider broader ethical dimensions beyond mere efficiency and technical expertise. He advocated for values such as accountability, transparency, and social responsibility in decision-making processes. Waldo argued that public administrators operate within a political context and cannot divorce themselves from the ethical implications of their actions. He emphasized the need for administrators to navigate this context ethically while pursuing societal goals. The debate between Waldo and Simon encapsulates the tension between those who advocate for a more value-driven and ethically conscious approach to public administration, as represented by Waldo, and those who prioritize a more technical, value-neutral perspective focused on problem solving and efficiency, as represented by Simon. This debate continues to influence discussions within the field even today, shaping how administrators balance ethical considerations with the pursuit of effective governance. Dear students, let us now discuss Waldo's most outstanding work, the administrative state. Waldo's most influential work was the administrative state, which was published in 1948. The administrative state has been counted as a seminal work of Waldo by scholars worldwide. It endures as one of the most important works in the intellectual development of public administration. Perhaps most significantly, it is an introduction to a distinctive form of inquiry and logic, the Waldonian approach to public action. In the Waldonian approach, administrative thinking is as much a continuous process as a search for settled principles or findings. Waldo suggested that public administration suffered from an identity crisis, so that it could not decide how it should define itself and by what principles it should act. His focus was on the development of a theory of development administration. Defining public administration with a social purpose was his major concern. Waldo wanted public administration to be noticed as a profession that connected many disciplines, not being independent of them. He asserted that the scientific method failed to harmonize administration with democratic values. Previous ideas held that public managers should go for a European style of detached scientific administration, in which policies were to be implemented objectively. He also said that public servants should become active, informed, politically savvy agents of change, whose mission is to improve the human condition and strengthen democracy. Waldo proposed his 4 central ideas. According to Waldo, there is an innate tension between democracy and bureaucracy that obliges public servants to protect democratic principles. The separation between politics and public administration is false. Public servants hold political positions that require more than merely implementing policy set by elected officials. Public servants must negotiate efficiencies demanded by the scientific management movement with due process and public access to government. According to Waldo, scientific management and efficiency are not the core ideals of government and bureaucracy. Instead, it is a service to the public. And lastly, a government cannot be run like a business. The Constitution and other democratic imperatives must be honored. With these major ideas as the underlying principles for his theory of development administration, Waldo then went on to challenge the dominant established understandings of his time. One of the major ideas he challenged was the politics-administration dichotomy. Let us now look at Waldo's views on the prevailing politics-administration dichotomy. Waldo's views on the politics-administration dichotomy were significant in shaping the discourse within public administration. Woodrow Wilson first mooted the dichotomy between politics and administration, so known as the Wilsonian dichotomy. The politics-administration dichotomy refers to the separation of political decision-making and administrative implementation. Traditional thought and classical theorists like Wilson advocated for a strict separation between these two realms, asserting that administrators should remain neutral and apolitical in executing policies. Waldo was critical of the rigid dichotomy between politics and administration. He argued that complete separation was not practical or feasible in real-world administrative settings. He believed that the boundaries between politics and administration were porous and intertwined. Waldo highlighted the interconnectedness between politics and administration. He emphasized that administrative decisions often carry political implications and that administrators could not divorce themselves entirely from the political context in which they operate. Waldo further introduced an ethical dimension to this discussion, suggesting that administrators should navigate the political environment ethically. He believed that while administrators cannot completely separate themselves from politics, they should maintain professionalism and ethical conduct in their administrative roles. Rather than advocating for a strict division, Waldo proposed that administrators should understand the political implications of their actions. He encouraged them to be mindful of ethical considerations while executing policies and to align their actions with the public interest. Waldo clearly recognized that the politics administration dichotomy needed to be discarded. Over the time, Waldo's critique led to a more nuanced understanding of the politics administration relationship. His ideas contributed to the shift away from a rigid separation towards a recognition of the complex interplay between politics and administration in public service. Dear students, let us now discuss a major event in the history of public administration, that is, the Minnowbrook Conference 1 and Waldo's role in it. The first Minnowbrook Conference, also known as Minnowbrook 1, was commissioned in 1968 to tackle the social unrest of the 1960s. The Minnowbrook Conference 1, held at the Minnowbrook Conference Center in New York, was a pivotal event in the field of public administration. The decade of 1960s was a turbulent period, plagued by numerous social disturbances. Yet, public administration indicated no signs of being aware of them, much less being eager to solve them. This was well articulated by Waldo in his book titled Public Administration in a Time of Turbulence, published in 1968. The Minnowbrook Conference 1 was a collaborative effort among scholars who aimed to challenge traditional approaches to public administration and initiate discussions about reforming the field. The conference, led by Waldo and his 33 young scholars and practitioners of public administration, had the general theme of the need for a public administration that was relevant to the public interest. They highlighted the lacunae of traditional public administration, which was considered to be too formalistic, excessively oriented towards a scientific base, obsessed with the instrumental values of economy and efficiency, and visibly insensitive to the democratic ideas and humanitarian approach that should guide public life. Minnowbrook 1 marked a significant departure from traditional public administration. Scholars and practitioners gathered to discuss the limitations of the traditional model, emphasizing its inability to address complex societal issues and the need for reform. The conference served as a platform for the introduction of new ideas and approaches in public administration. It initiated discussions on issues such as citizen participation, social equity, and the role of administrators in addressing societal problems. Minnowbrook 1 highlighted the importance of values and ethics in public administration. Scholars like Waldo contributed to discussions on the ethical responsibilities of administrators, emphasizing the need for a more value-driven approach to governance. The ideas and discussions at Minnowbrook 1 had a lasting impact on public administration scholarship and research. They influenced the development of new theories, methodologies, and approaches in the field. The conference had implications beyond academia. It influenced administrative practices by encouraging a more responsive and participatory approach to governance, impacting how administrators approached policy formulation and implementation. In short, Minnowbrook Conference 1 was crucial in initiating a paradigm shift in public administration, fostering discussions on values, ethics, citizen participation, and the need for a more responsive and socially conscious approach to governance. It played a foundational role in shaping the evolution of the field, and its subsequent conferences continued to build upon its contributions. The conference laid the groundwork for the emergence of the new public administration movement. It catalyzed a shift in the field's focus, encouraging a more socially conscious, participatory, and ethically driven model of public administration. Dear students, let us now discuss the NPA movement. Since 1968, the vocabulary of public administration has been enriched by the emergence of what has come to be known as the New Public Administration or NPA. The credit for providing a fillip to the NPA movement goes to Waldo. The NPA emerged as a significant reform movement in the field of public administration in the late 1960s and early 1970s. It presented a departure from the existing traditional and classical approaches. The NPA was not only revolutionary but also reformist. It was markedly different from the existing perception of public administration. It puts more emphasis on a normative approach. NPA advocated the creation and sustenance of organizations that are responsible to clients as well as to their internal members. Let us look at the primary differences between traditional public administration and new public administration. Traditional public administration emphasized efficiency, hierarchy, and a neutral and apolitical approach to governance. Its primary focus was on achieving organizational efficiency and effectiveness. NPA, on the other hand, focuses on social equity, justice, and responsiveness to societal needs. It seeks to address inequalities, empower marginalized communities, and ensure citizen participation in decision-making processes. Another difference lies in the nature of decision-making. Decision-making was often centralized, bureaucratic, and based on technical expertise in traditional public administration. There was less emphasis on public input or citizen engagement. However, the NPA emphasized participatory decision-making, involving citizens in policy formulation and implementation. It aimed for more decentralized decision-making processes and sought input from affected communities. One other difference lies in the view of bureaucracy. Traditional public administration saw bureaucracy as an efficient and rational means of organizing and managing government operations. NPA questioned the hierarchical and bureaucratic nature of traditional systems. It advocated for more flexible, responsive, and adaptive administrative structures. Another difference lies in the question of ethics. Ethics were often narrowly defined within the framework of organizational efficiency, and compliance with rules and regulations in traditional public administration. NPA emphasized the ethical responsibilities of administrators beyond mere efficiency. It highlighted values such as social responsibility, transparency, and accountability. Administrators were expected to be technically proficient and neutral in their execution of policies in the traditional model. But NPA sees administrators differently. Administrators were seen as advocates for social change, responsible for addressing social injustices and ensuring policies were sensitive to diverse societal needs. Traditional public administration emphasized delivering services efficiently, often through a top-down approach. NPA, on the other hand, emphasized a service orientation that prioritized citizen needs and engaged communities in the co-production of services. Lastly, traditional public administration advocated for a strict separation between politics and administration, aiming for neutrality in administrative decision making. However, the NPA acknowledged the interconnectedness of politics and administration, advocating for administrators to navigate the political context ethically while pursuing societal goals. Now that we have discussed how NPA is different from traditional public administration, let us look at the prominent features of NPA. The NPA introduced several distinct features that set it apart from traditional approaches to public administration. These features emphasized a shift towards a more socially conscious, participatory, and ethically driven model of governance. Let us look at these features one by one. The first feature is emphasis on social equity and justice. NPA emphasized the importance of social justice and equity in public administration. It aimed to address inequalities and ensure that government policies and services were more inclusive and responsive to diverse societal needs. Second is citizen participation and empowerment. One of the central features of NPA was the emphasis on citizen participation in decision-making processes. It sought to empower citizens by involving them in governance, recognizing their expertise, and incorporating their perspectives into policy formulation and implementation. Another feature is related to ethical dimensions and values in administration. NPA highlighted the ethical responsibilities of public administrators. It emphasized the need for administrators to consider ethical values such as accountability, transparency, and social responsibility in their decision-making processes. The next feature is the critique of bureaucracy and hierarchy. The NPA movement questioned the rigid bureaucratic and hierarchical structures of traditional public administration. It advocated for more flexible, responsive, and adaptive administrative systems that could better address societal complexities. Another feature is focus on service delivery and co-production. NPA emphasized a service orientation that prioritized citizen needs. It aimed for administrators to engage with communities in the co-production of services, involving citizens in designing and delivering public services. The next feature is democratic governance and decentralization. The NPA movement advocated for more democratic forms of governance. It encouraged decentralized decision-making processes, empowering local communities and recognizing their role in shaping policies that directly affected them. Another important feature is the interconnectedness of politics and administration. NPA acknowledged the interconnectedness between politics and administration. Rather than advocating for a strict separation, it emphasized that administrative decisions often carried political implications, and administrators should navigate this context ethically while pursuing societal goals. The last and most important feature is advocacy for change and social responsibility. Administrators were seen as advocates for social change, responsible for addressing social injustices and ensuring that policies were sensitive to diverse societal needs. The NPA movement encouraged administrators to adopt a more proactive role in advocating for societal improvements. All these features collectively marked a departure from the traditional paradigm of public administration by emphasizing citizen participation, social equity, ethical considerations, and a more responsive approach to governance. The paradigm shift to NPA is celebrated as Waldo's greatest contribution to the discipline of public administration. Dear students, let us now conclude today's lecture. The foremost concerns of NPA have been with the goals, values, and the spirit of public administration. The principal values of NPA continue to perennially re-energize the discipline as well as the profession of public administration. Waldo remains a prominent figure in the field of public administration. He is known for his contributions to the study of public administration and bureaucracy. Waldo's work focused on administrative theory, ethics in public service, and the role of public administrators in society. He emphasized the importance of public administrators' ethical conduct and their responsibility to serve the public interest. His ideas have had a lasting impact on the field of public administration and the understanding of bureaucratic systems. In recognition of his long service to the profession, the American Society for Public Administration established the Dwight Waldo Award, given annually to an outstanding public administrator. Waldo's ideas on ethics, values, and the role of administrators in societal change continue to resonate in public administration scholarship and practice. His contributions remain relevant in discussions on administrative ethics and governance even today. So, dear students, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed learning about Dwight Waldo in this lecture. We have discussed a lot of important themes within the Waldonian approach to public administration. I will see you soon with another lecture on development administration. Till then, take care and happy learning. Thank you.